Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mark, and today I'm going to be doing a couple, not quite rehouses, but some adjustments to a few tarantula enclosures. I'm going to be adding in some new substrate and kind of tweaking their environment a little bit. So, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so these are the three tarantulas I'm going to be working with today. I will start with the one on the right here. Some of you may recognize this from my other videos. This is, of course, my Nondu coloratovolosis. Hopefully I pronounced that right. This is also known as the Brazilian black and white. And then in the middle, here we got my T. albopilosum, formerly known as the B. albopilosum or the Brachypelma albopilosum. And that is, of course, the Honduran curly hair tarantula. This is the smaller of the two. In my last video, I actually rehoused my big female. This one, I'm not quite sure as to the gender yet. It was sold to me as unsexed, but I'm really hoping it's a male because this is one species I would absolutely love to breed. And last but certainly not least, we have my Grandma Stola Pultra, aka the Brazilian Black. Alright, there we go. Much better. Now, if this were an old world species or a more high-strung new world, I would be taking way more safety precautions than this. But seeing as how this girl's not too quick, I'm just going to go ahead and remove her cork bark here. By the way, I want to reiterate again, for anybody who is not terribly experienced with tarantulas or is kind of new to the hobby, don't do what I just did. Don't use your hands if you're, like I said, if you're just not very experienced, or if you're dealing with a more high-strung species, especially in Old World, that has a shorter temper and a more potent bite. In fact, in those cases, you're a lot of times better off either blocking off the tarantula's hide with like a piece of cardboard or something so that it can't get out while you're in there working, or just removing the spider from its enclosure while you're doing any type of maintenance. That way you don't have to worry about it spazzing out and either escaping or potentially biting you. See how I want to do this here real quick. Thinking this is always the trickiest part, is getting these things to cooperate. Maybe I can get her to climb onto this cork bark. My apologies for the shaky cam work here. Damn it, come on. Get on the cork bark. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and just use my forceps here to retrieve the water dish, because this substrate is probably littered with urticating hairs, being that this is a New World species. Oh, hey, look, another piece of cork bark. Now, I'm not sure as far as the burrowing tendencies on these guys goes, but I'm going to give her maybe another inch or two of substrate, because I feel like this enclosure is a little lacking in the substrate department. Regardless, it's still a good idea when you're dealing with a New World terrestrial species, seeing as to how they're not really the greatest climbers, although they will attempt to climb. They're very prone to falling, so you want to have at least half, if not 3/4 of the enclosure filled up with substrate to act as a breaker in case they do fall. Just go ahead and spread this out some. I'd say that's about good. I'd put in a little bit more, but I don't want to have it spilling out of the holes here on the side. Alright, we'll go ahead and grab her a clean water dish. If I can find one here. Okay. Finally, I was able to find a new water dish. Sorry about that. I'll just go ahead and reposition her cork bark, get this dead cricket out of there. It's generally a good idea, just as a rule of thumb, to clean out your tarantula enclosures at least once a week. Make sure there's no leftover cricket parts or anything like that, because that can be a big attractor for mites and forward flies. You definitely do not want an infestation of either one of those in your tea enclosures. Alright, girl. Go home. Come on. Come on. Oh, you're not making this easy on me, girl. Woohoo! Finally. Alright, well, hopefully she enjoys it. We'll go ahead and set her aside. Alright, so next up is the T. albopilosum, aka the Honduran curly hair. As you can see, hopefully he, dug himself a little burrow there underneath his cork bark. That's one thing I love about this species. They're definitely very intricate diggers, almost like little bulldozers. I don't want to disturb him too much, so I think I'll just go ahead. I think what I'll do is I will block off his burrow right here with this Gatorade cap, and then I'm just going to add substrate to this half of the enclosure, not too high because obviously I don't want it to become an avalanche and end up crushing the poor fella, but I think another inch or two wouldn't hurt. I'm not going to make too many adjustments to his house because he seems pretty content with it right now. Alright, and now for the fun one. Now, this is one species that I truly don't know a whole lot about the temperament of them. I've heard some people say that they're quite defensive. I've heard others say that they're not so much defensive as they are skittish, and that they love to kick hairs. That part I can definitely vouch for. I'm not sure if you guys can see that bald spot on her butt there, but that is from kicking urticating hairs. Regardless, she's definitely a bit on the spazzy side and can be kind of quick, so I'm going to be proceeding with caution here. This is definitely one beautiful spider, though. I mean, look at those colors. Wow. Now, this one I think I'm just gonna end up taking her out of the enclosure before I proceed to put more substrate in. I just do not trust her temperament. I don't trust her to stay placid throughout this video. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the camera right here actually, and then I'll pick it up once I've got her safe and secure. Alright, so finally got her to cooperate for me. Gave her a fresh new water dish, another piece of cork bark in case she ends up wanting a new hideout. She, for some reason, decided to block off her old hide. Not quite sure why, but sometimes tarantulas just do weird things for whatever reason. And last but not least, I've got a few fake plants that I'm going to be putting in here. This is a tropical species, so I'm going for kind of a jungle vibe here. And we'll go ahead and just stick one more in there. Doubt it'll look that neat in about 2 days once she settles in, but who knows? At least it'll look good for now. Before I wrap up here, I just wanted to show you guys the tunnel that my larger albopilosum has recently excavated. Look at that. This is within literally 24 hours of me rehousing her. You can see she burrowed straight down to the very bottom of her terrarium. Wow. So cool. Alright guys, well that about wraps up this video. Let me know please in the comments below if there's any subjects you'd like me to do a video covering. I definitely plan on doing at least one more feeding compilation for this month, and I definitely want to do a couple of care videos covering some of the species that I currently own in my collection. So, with that being said, that's all for now. Peace.